Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. So let us continue with our topic, that is programming constructs. Let us start with the switch statement. This switch statement is also called as multiple branch selection statement. So why this switch statement is called as multiple branch selection statement? Because this switch statement given expression is being evaluated against the list of integer constants or a character constants. Suppose when a match has been found, a particular statement associated with that switch statement will be executed. Once the match, if it is not found, then the default statement will be executed. That is the reason why we call switch statement to be as multiple branch selection statement, because it has to evaluate the given expression against the list of different kind of case labels. It might be a case labels could be an integer, or the case labels could be an character constant. Suppose if the given expression, if it is matched with a case label 1, then the statement which has been associated with this case label 1 will be executed. Suppose if the match is not found with this particular label 1, then this particular statement will be skipped and the control jumps to evaluate against the next case label 2. Suppose if the given expression matches with this particular case label 2, then the statement associated with this case label will be executed. Similarly, it keeps on checking for the rest of the case labels. Suppose if any match has been found, then the statements which are being associated with this particular case labels will be executed. Suppose if none of the case labels matches, in that case the default statement will be executed. So this is how the switch statement will be working. Let us look at the flowchart here. So is given expression will be evaluated with this particular case label 1. If the match is found, the statement 1 is executed. Once the statement 1 associated with this particular case label is executed, the control goes to the next statement. So in this given particular switch statement, only any one case label will be executed. If none of the match, default. Similarly, if this given expression has been tested against with this case label, if the match is found, the statement 2 will be executed. And once the statement 2 is executed, the control goes to the next statement. Similarly, up to n labels we are checking, and if none of the matches, then finally the default statement will be executed. So remember here, the case label could be an integer constant or it could be an character constant. Now let us look at the example here. When you look at the example here, see here the switch. Remember children, the switch to be written in the lower case. Look at here, the switch should be written in lower case followed by your given expression. So herein the day number. So we need to find out the given day number here, the name of the given day number. Now if I give here the day number as 1, enter the day number, if I give the input to be as 1, so this one, if it is matches with this particular case, because what is the label here? The label is integer constants here. If the input given number is 1 and the case label here it is also 1, if 1 and this 1, if it is matches, then the statement associated with this particular case will be executed. See, once after we execute this particular statement and once later if we encounter the break statement, what is this use of this particular break statement? Break statement will terminate the current loop. So once we encounter this particular break statement, the control will immediately terminate this particular switch loop and the control will jump to the out of the structure, out of this particular switch statement. The control comes to the next statement. It will not allow you to go to execute the next case label. That is the why we include the break statement in almost all the cases. What if I don't include the break statement here? Now suppose if the given input is 1 and if I don't include the break statement, then it will print me Sunday, as well as it will even print me Monday also. And after this, if we are writing the break statement, then it will terminate the current loop and control brings the out of the switch structure. Then it will prevent you to printing from Tuesday, Wednesday and all, because it has encountered the break statement. So writing the break statement in switch statement is very, very important. The main intention here is the statements which are associated with this particular case only has to be executed. When you give the given number, day number as 1, the Monday is not that belonging to the day number 1. Monday actually belongs to the, when you give the input to be as 2, isn't it? That is why we need to involve break statement in almost all the case. Like this, suppose if I give the case here, the switch expression as day number to be as 5. So 5 will match with 1, the match is not found, so it will skip this particular case, control jumps to the next case. So 5 matches with the 2 here, match is not found, so skip it. So 5 matches with 3, match is not found. Similarly, 5 matches with 4, match is not found. When match is find with this one, case 5, the match is found, matched here. Okay, it matches here. Then the statement associated with this would be Thursday. Thursday will be printed. Once it encounters the break, control comes out of this particular switch. What if I give the day number to be as 8 or the day number to be as 10? None of the cases matches. By default, the statement which it is associated with the default statement here, invalid day number, will be printed as the output. I hope children you are able to understand the switch statement. This is very, very important question from your exam point of view. So they may ask you briefly explain the working of switch statement. In that case, you write what is switch case, why it is called as multiple selection branching statement, how it exactly works, write the flow chart, write the algorithm, and then give one example. Okay. So if they are asking for 5 marks, then do write a programming example. If they are asking for just for 3 marks, if they are asking just quoting the program segment, that's enough. Okay. Now let us move on to the next statement, that is iterative or the looping statements. So iterative or the looping construct. What is the need for having this iterative or the looping construct? Suppose your program demands for certain number of statements to be executed until the condition satisfied, or you want it to repeat for certain number of times. You may know the given number of times, you know how many times it has to be repeated, or sometimes you may doesn't know how many number of times it has to be repeated, but you want to make certain set of statements to be repeated until the given condition has to be satisfied. In that case, we call them such statements to be as iterative statements or repetitive statements, or we can also refer it as an looping statements. Okay. Now here in case of iterative statements or looping statements, we have two different types of statements or two different types of construct, that is conditional and unconditional looping statements. Okay. Now what exactly this conditional looping statement is? Conditional looping statements are those group of instructions or the statements which will repeatedly execute until some logical condition if it is satisfied. Here in case of conditional looping statements, the number of repetition will not be known in advance. Such statements, looping statements, we actually refer it as an conditional looping statements. Say for an example, the while loop or a do while loop we can use when we doesn't know actually how many number of times the loop has to be iterated. Those are the examples for the conditional looping statements. Then what are the unconditional looping statements? Unconditional looping statements are those, similarly they will also a group of statements which has to be repeated for a specified number of times. So specified number of times means here we know well in advance how many times the statements, a group of statements has to be repeated. So the examples for unconditional looping statements are for loop. So conditional, wherein we doesn't know well in advance how many number of times the statements has to be repeated, but in unconditional we know exactly how many number of times the loop has to be iterated. So these are the two different types of iterative or the looping construct we encounter. Moving on to the next discussion, that is while construct. So what is this while construct? Mainly this while construct, we call it as pre-tested looping structure. Why we refer it as a pre-tested looping structure? Because in the while construct we actually checks the condition at the beginning of the structure. Now let me show the syntax here so that you can clearly understand. Now this while construct we actually refer it as a pre-tested looping structure because observe here, we are checking the condition at the beginning of the statements, beginning of the structure. Now the set of statements will be executed, these set of statements will be executed again and again until this particular given condition it is true. So once this condition becomes false, the control will be transferred to the out of this particular while structure, or the control jumps to the next statement. So therefore this while condition we actually refer it as an pre-tested looping structure. Now here the pre-tested in the sense what? The condition is being checked initially before we execute certain set of statements, and these set of statements will be repeatedly executed only this particular condition if it is true. If it is false, then automatically the control jumps out of while structure. I hope children you are able to understand. Let us have a glance on the flow chart here. Look at the flow chart here. Given the test condition, if the test condition is true, then the set of statements to be executed. Now here the statement could be a compound statement or a block we can refer it, or it could be a simple statement also. Now here what is compound statement? Compound statements are nothing but they are the group of statements, okay, which are being terminated by semicolon and they are being enclosed under the curled braces. So we refer this as a compound statement or a block. Now herein I have just replaced with the statements here. So if this test condition, if it is true, then these set of statements will be executed, and then after that the repetition would take place. This repetition would take place until the given test condition it is true. Once this given test condition becomes false, so control will jump to the next statement. We can attach this one flow to the next statement here. That means the controls move out of your while structure. Now let us have a look on the example for clear understanding. Now here comes a program segment wherein I am initializing the I value to be as 1, okay, while I is less than or is equal to 5. I want our loop has to be iterated until I should be less than or is equal to 5 here, and every time if the condition is true, I am going to print the I value, and after printing the I value, I want to increment the I value by 1, and these set of statements keeps on repeating, that is print I and I is equal to I plus 1 until this particular condition satisfies. Once this condition becomes fails, the control will go to the next statement or out of the while structure. Let us look at this tracing. When I is equal to 1, 1 is less than or is equal to 5, yes, the condition is true. If this condition is true, then print the I value. When you print the I value, I will be printed what? It will be printed as 1, and later I will get incremented. When I get incremented, I becomes 1 plus 1, the I value becomes here 2 it will become. Now after that what? So here initially I value is 1. So 1 plus 1, 2. Again the while will repeat. So what is the current value of I? That is 2. 2 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Print the I value, that is 2 is printed. Again increment the I value. Now latest value of I was 2. 2 plus 1, this would become 3. Again, repetition. 3 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Print I means you are printing the 3. And then next I gets incremented. Once the I gets incremented, I becomes 4 now. Again, 4 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Print the I value. When you print the I value, it will become 4. Then again, I gets incremented. 4 plus 1, 5. Again, 5 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, still the condition is true. Once your condition is true, you are printing the I value, that is 5 will be printed. Again, I gets incremented. Look at here. When I gets incremented, I value will become 6. So 6 is less than or is equal to 5. The condition is false. Once the condition is false, then definitely the control goes to the next statement. Now here comes the output, how we are printing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how we are generating the output of this particular, out of this particular program segment. Moving on to the next control structure, that is do while structure. Now in this particular do while structure, this is called as post testing looping structure. Why we refer this do while construct to be as post testing? Because look at here, the do while checks the condition at the end of the structure. Do in the sense, first these set of statements will be executed irrespective of whether at the initial point of time whether the condition satisfies or not. The control will directly enter into the loop and it will start executing these set of statements. Once these set of statements execute, then at the end of the structure we are going to test the given condition. Because of this, we refer the do while statement to be as post tested looping structure. What is this term post is? Post is nothing but it is later. Pre in the sense before. Okay. So pre in the sense before, post in the sense after. That is why this do while construct we actually refer it as post tested looping structure. Now similarly here also, now since the statement 1, 2 and statement n up to at least once they are getting executed irrespective of the given condition, if it is true or false at the initial time. So therefore, the set of statements in the do while construct will execute at least once. But what happens in the while condition? While condition, we are testing the given condition at the initial point. So if initially the condition, if it is false, no set of statements will be executed at least once. But here, since we are testing the given condition at the fag end, at least once these set of statements will be executed. Now here also the statements repeats the execution of set of statements until this particular while condition is true. Once if it is while condition, see, once this while condition is true, again the repetition takes place. Once the while condition is false, the control directly jumps to the next statement. Look at the flow chart here. See, initially the statement 1, statement 2, statement n will be executed initially. Then at the fag end you are checking the condition. If it is true, again the repetition takes place. Again these set of statements will be repeated. Once this, again if the test condition will be checked. Again if it is true, again the repetition. Once this condition becomes false, the controls joins to the next statement. Now let us look at the example here. Now look here. Initially we are assigning the sum value to be as 0 here. I value is equal to 1 and directly we are starting with the do. So what we are actually doing initially, I am just here calculating the sum value. Sum plus I. Sum plus y means what is the initial value of sum? That is 0 plus what is the initial value of I? 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. The latest value of sum will become 1. It will rewrite the contents from 0 to 1. And after that I am incrementing the I value. When you increment the I value, so I initially was 1. So 1 plus 1 I value, the latest value will become 2. Now look at here. While condition here. Now look at here. I should be less than or is equal to 5. So we calculated the latest value of I to be as 2 here. 2 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, your condition is true. So again do. So again do in a sense, again the control jumps to the loop and it will start executing. So what is the sum value initially? The sum value was actually the latest value we had got as 1. So now the I value has become 2. So 1 plus 2 it is 3. Again I gets incremented. So I value was actually 2. So 2 plus 1, the I value will become 3. 3, again test the condition. 3 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Now the sum value was, the latest was actually it was 3. So 3 plus, what is the I value here? Now it is 3. So 3 plus 3, it is 6. So again I gets incremented. I was 3. 3 plus 1, I value will become 4. Again 4 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. Again the sum value. The previous sum value was actually 6. So 6 plus 4, the sum value is 10. Again I value previously was 4. 4 plus 1 becomes 5. Again 5 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. If your condition is true, the latest previous value of sum was 10. 10 plus 5. So the sum would become 15. Now here I value will become what? I value will become 6 here. So check out here, 6 is less than or is equal to 5. The condition becomes false here when I gets incremented. So once the condition becomes false, you are not iterating. In fact, your control jumps to the next statement. What is there in your next statement? That you need to print the sum value. Therefore, what I am getting the output to be sum is equal to 15 because the latest value of sum was 15 here. Now this is how exactly the do while statement works. Again, this is also important. They may ask it for 5 marks. Explain the do while looping construct if they are asking for 5 marks. Again, explain why it is called as, it is called as post-tested looping structure, how it exactly works. Write the syntax, draw the flowchart, and then give one programming example. If they are asking for 3 marks, then program segment is more than enough. And one more important question here is the difference between while and do while statement. Already we have covered this difference between while and do while in the control statements, so you can refer to that. Moving on to the next programming construct, that is the for loop. Now what is this for loop is? See, when we doesn't know in advance how many number of times this group of statements has to be executed, then either go for do or either go for the while. Now when you need to decide, you need to execute do or while. Suppose if you want at least once your statement has to be executed, okay, irrespective of the condition, then go for do while statement. But you want to execute certain set of statements only if your condition satisfies, then go for the while statement. Now what happens when you know well in advance how many number of times your loop has to be iterated? In that case, you can choose for the for construct. Therefore, the for construct is being referred to as an fixed execution structure. Okay, the for construct we call it as fixed execution looping structure. Now, this looping structure we are using when we know well in advance how many number of times the statement has to be executed. Now here also the set of statements what we write in the for statement, it keeps on repeatedly executing until the given condition satisfies. Once a given condition fails, then the control jumps to the next statement. But here in case of the for construct, it is different than the while and do while, because in the for general syntax we have the 3 parts here. For followed by expression 1, and each of the given expressions are being terminated by they are being terminated or they are being separated by the semicolon. Expression 1, expression 2 and expression 3. Now what is this expression 1? Expression 1 actually gives you the initialization. Expression 2 gives the condition, and expression 3 gives you the either increment or the decrement. Now depending upon how this for loop actually works, initially first the counter variable will be initialized first. After once the counter variable is initialized, then it checks for the given condition. If this given condition satisfies, then these set of statements will be executed. And once these set of statements are executed, then the control goes to the increment or the decrement part here. depending upon whether you have written I plus plus or whether you have written I minus minus. Increment or decrement takes place. After again the control jumps to the condition statement. Again the condition will be checked. If it is true, then the statement 1 to statement n will be executed, and again increment take place. Again the condition will be checked. So like this process keeps on repeating until this particular given condition satisfies. Once the given condition fails, then the control will directly jump to the next statement or the out of the for loop. Remember, the initialization will execute only once here. Okay, so initialization can execute only one time. The condition will be executed n number of times. Similarly, increment or decrement also takes place n number of times. This is how exactly the general syntax of the for loop. Let us have a quick glance on the flowchart here. The flowchart here. Now, what is the variable what we are using in this particular for loop? We actually call it as a counter variable. So, this counter variable actually stands for CV. Then IV actually stands for initial variable. So, initial to the final. You need to keep on repeating this particular for loop, these particular sets, set of statements until the initial value to the final value. That is what they have written, CV. That is for counter variable is equal to until initial value to the final value. It has to keep on repeating these number of set of statements. So again we are checking the counter variable. Okay. Now let me counter variable. So let me explain this one with the for loop here. The example, look at this one. So sum is being initialized with the value 0 for I is equal to 1. Now this is what initialization, that is expression 1. Now this is the expression 2, that is condition, and this is the third part, that is increment expression here. Now I is equal to 1, I should be less than or is equal to 5, I plus plus. So therefore what is the counter variable here? I is being referred to as a counter variable. Now this counter variable has to repeat these number of set of statements until the final value. What is the final value? Until this particular given condition. So let us have a quick glance on here, the working. I is initially equal to 1. So sum is 0 here. So 1 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. So in that case 0 plus 1. So sum will have its latest value as 1. Again incrementation takes place. Now I becomes 2. 2 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, the condition is true. So the sum value previously it was 1, isn't it? So 1 plus 2, the sum value will become 3. Again incrementation takes place. Now I value will become what? 3. So 3 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, your condition is true. The latest value was sum was 3, and now the counter variable is also 3. So 3 plus 3, the sum value is 6. Again I gets incremented. When I gets incremented, I becomes 4. 4 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, your condition true. The latest value of sum was actually 6. So 6 plus 4, that becomes 10. Again I gets incremented. So now this time I value will become 5. So 5 is less than or is equal to 5. Yes, your condition is true. So in that case, previous value was, sum value was 10. So 10 plus 5, the sum value became 15. I gets incremented. Now I becomes 6. 6 is less than or is equal to 5. The condition becomes false. So once this condition becomes false, your control jumps to the next statement. So this is how exactly the for loop works. So I hope you are able to understand this. So but comparatively to the do while and while, the for loop is the more number of times it has been asked in the annual examination. So explain briefly the for looping construct. So in that case, explain why it is called as fixed looping structure, explain how it works, write the syntax, draw the flow chart, and give one programming example. Simple program you can code, factorial of a given number using for loop, or printing the n natural numbers by using for loop. Okay, so these are some simple programming example. I hope children you are able to understand this programming construct. So Today session we have completed the rest of the programming constructs, that is while, do while, okay, and for loop, as well as multiple branch selection statement, that is switch statements we have completed. In our further video classes we shall deal with the last topic, that is the top down and the bottom up approach. Thank you students. Take care of yourself.